So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a frame which is going to be desktop 1440 pixels of width, since that is a good size. It's not too large, it's not too small. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the side menu as the very first element. So as you can see right here, we have the side menu. I'm simply going to make the background just a little bit darker so that I can more easily see this dashboard. And what we're gonna do next is we're going to turn this side menu into a white color, and we're going to do that by adjusting the fill. And we're also going to add a drop shadow, which is going to be very slight, and we're not going to really have a lot drop shadow. So we're going to reduce the opacity by probably 10% or so, even 8%, just so we can barely see this division between the top level side menu and the background. Now we're going to get started by adding a circle right here. And if you wish, you could also create an auto layout out of the side menu. And we're going to go ahead, make it just a little bit smaller. We're going to use one of my favorite plugins to find an image of a individual, which is going to be over here on Splash. And if you click on portrait, you're going to find a bunch of different images. We're going to go with this one because the composition is clear, and also on the whiter tones of the background, for example, also the white t-shirt, that helps with the general composition as it's a light design. And I know that not many people are actually focusing on these details, but it really all adds up in the end. Now we're going to add the text, which is going to be in Inter, which is a free Google web font. So you can simply go on Google, search for Inter, and you're going to find it right away. And we're going to write an Atkinson's, and simply making up a name. We're going to center this text alignment, make it just a little bit bigger. And also I'm probably want to go with semi-bold for this name. And right below it, I'm going to write profile and make it just a little bit smaller. And on top of that, we are going to change the color. And for this project, we're going to go with a color around these lines. So a blue, which is not too strong, but it works really well for basically SaaS tech companies, these kind of things. We're going to auto layout this text. We're going to basically auto layout this one more time. I just like to have this group individually in the auto layout so that I can adjust in case the spacing of the text, and while I want to keep these two separated. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to add some sort of a divider line, so that it's just easier to see the visual division between one element and the other. And I'm going to select a color which is a gray, but just with a tint of blue, because it really adds to the design, not to making it just a dull, pure gray element. And I'm going to add the auto layout again. Let's center this vertically. Now at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly duplicate this text using Option Alt, and I'm going to bring the text over here. I'm going to write labels, and I'm going to basically make this all caps. And let's increase the letter spacing. I'm going to make it at 12. And at this point, I'm going to use a color which is somewhat similar to the gray that we used for the line, but where I'm going to make it just a little bit darker, just like that. Okay, going to duplicate this one as well, make it in a black color, and we are in a good position overall. So at this point, I'm simply going to grab the icons from the original to save us a little bit of time instead of going and searching each and every one of them. But in your case, what I recommend you doing is download a software, which could be, for example, Nucleo Icons, which is my favorite icon management software, together with Noun project. And what Nucleo icons allow you to do is to search for icons, for example, social, and I can literally drag and drop the icons and have them in SVG format, which is super important so that it's scalable vector graphics. You don't want to have flat icons in your designs, as SVG is going to allow you to extend increase the size of the icon without losing any of the underlying quality. So now that what that is done, we're going to simply add the different text, which is probably going to be in a medium, since we don't really want to make this as much visual emphasis as the one above. And I'm going to duplicate this using Shift plus Option Alt, and then using Command D just a few times so that I can quickly create the duplicates. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to use this trick of distribute vertical spacing so we can quickly organize these. And I'm simply going to add some text. Doesn't really matter for the time being. These menu items, we just need them as placeholders for this project. So I'm going to write send drafts, and then deleted favorites. I'm simply going to quickly add some more. Of course, the icons aren't representative of the actual text label, but I just want to get the point across. And then in your example, you can actually go ahead and curate all of these details. Now let's go ahead and we're going to create an auto layout for all of these elements. As you can see, instead of having to select each and every time, I can actually lock this layer so that I won't select it by accident, using Shift plus A for the auto layout. And I'm going to basically auto layout all of these. All right. At this point, one thing that I can do is just select all of these, make sure that they're all well aligned within the auto layout. And at this point, I'm going to create a button, which is going to be right here below. So I'm going to sample the original color, which we used right here. I'm actually going to change this color. Oops. Or actually, let's do it directly from here. And I'm going to round up just a little bit. I don't want to really overdo this. And I'm going to add over here the text, upgrade plan, center this vertically, then let's make this white. And I'm going to use auto layout, and I'm going to duplicate this, right contact support. Let's make it just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to sample using the Ctrl plus C to use the same color. And I'm going to make the fill 10% opacity. And here we have the two main call to actions in the side menu. Okay, so now that the side menu is done, we can actually go ahead and create the main areas. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool in order to create this section, and I'm going to change the color slightly so that we have this visual separation from the background rectangle. All right, so we're going to add the top header, which is going to be overview. I'm going to increase this quite a bit, making it just like that. And now we're going to add also a divider line. And we're going to add another one again, just to give us a brief idea of where do we want to keep the main graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some of these elements, and I'm going to make it, let's make it at 10% opacity. I'm going to grab the text, add this, which is going to be 7. And in order to make our lives easier, I'm simply going to lock this. And I'm going to make this a little bit lighter because we don't want as much visual emphasis. Okay, good old auto layout. And if all is looking good, we could easily change this. Let's actually do one thing. Actually, I don't think we really need the auto layout for this one. So just to make our lives easier, I'm simply going to group these, and then I'm going to use Shift plus Option Alt, and then I'm going to duplicate this just a few times, or actually a lot of times, and I'm going to stretch these. And here we go. Cool. At this point, let's just rearrange the heights so that it looks like an actual graph. There really isn't too much logic applied to this at this very moment because it's not a real client project. But of course, if it was a real client project, you would do all of the necessary UX decision making and due diligence. So I'm just making this up. Right. Looking good. Now let's make a big spike at the end, showing that there is some activity, some elements which maybe require extra attention, things of that nature. All right. So at this point, what we want to do, well, actually, I want to have this section with more visual emphasis, actually. And I'm going to select all of this portion right here. And I'm going to turn up the opacity. So we have a layer of like a visual layer. So simply going to right here. Simply going to repeat. There's a bunch of ways that you can do all of these. So don't feel limited by one method or the other. The important part is that at the very end, you're going to get to the result that you are actually looking for. So there's always multiple ways to achieve a result, and just keep that in mind. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. So at this point, we are definitely in a good shape. And what we're going to do next is we're going to have some sort of label for the upcoming table. So we're going to go over here, I'm going to write users. Oops, what did I do? Users. And this one is going to be gray. And maybe just a little bit smaller. Then we're going to have over here status, users, impressions, and conversion. Okay, let's write all of this. So status. Then I'm going to show you a nice trick to organize all this. Impressions and conversion. All right. So far, it's looking good. And we're going to do that. Actually, let's do it one more time, because we're going to have the three dots menu at the very end. And cool, looking good. And I'm going to add some elements right here. Oops, let's make this one in this dark color. Going to add some ellipses here. And status. So we're going to copy the style by using Option Command C, Option Command V. This one is going to act almost as a secondary label. And for the status, we're going to have right here. Going to write paused, auto layout. All right. So far, this is looking good. Center vertically, auto layout, duplicated. And this one's going to be another number. Let's write total impressions. This one's going to be conversions. And let's be generous with the conversions. All right, now at this point, we're going to add another icon, which is going to be the three dots menu, which you can see right here. Just borrowed it from the original design, but you can easily find it pretty much anywhere on the web as an icon, or simply create three ellipses. You're good to go. So at this point, what we want to do is to actually add well, I'm actually going to add some an image, which in this case we can use Unsplash again. So we're going to borrow the one from the original. And at this point, I'm going to auto layout this. These ones are already auto layouts, and you can select all of this auto layout, applying it. And at this point, what we can do is to simply adapt these labels, and we have our nice base. And create an auto layout out of this as well, readapted, since the position has been changed slightly. And at this point, what we can do is simply copying using Shift plus the Option Alt key, in below. And this one we're going to write active, active, active. Actually, one thing that I'm noticing is that this auto layout is going to create some issues with the alignment here on the left. So what you can do actually is to simply disregard the auto layout and simply going to keep it for time being. And simply going to copy just a few times various elements. Oops, copy the same. And now we can change all the other values. So nothing crazy. And here we go. So cool. We have our dashboard created. And yet again, hope this video was helpful. I have over 700 videos on this YouTube channel, and I'm very active on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the social media out there. So if you're interested in learning more about design from a designer with over a decade of experience, feel free to check it out, as well as all of the freebies in the link in the description. And I'll see you in the next one.